Tom's neighbors realize they haven't seen him in quite a while and ask his wife, Laura Belle, where the hell he went. She says back home to see family. Yet when an odd odor begins radiating from Laura and Tom's house, those same neighbors wonder if maybe they will never see Tom again. My name is M. William Phelps. I'm an investigative journalist and the true crime author of dozens of true crime books. I've dedicated the past 25 years of my life to helping families of the missing and murdered. Join me next for this Crossing the Line with M. William Phelps shortcut. In Newark, Ohio, that winter, the cold had settled in and kind of just sat there. Anyone living in a northern climate knows the cold I mean. That crisp, sharp air only the months of January and February can produce, which cuts through your bones as you walk out the door. Newark is east of Columbus, situated near a town called Little Texas in, not kidding you, Licking County. Braving the blustery weather, Newark postman Wilfred Butcher slogs through the ice and snow, holding onto his hat as the wind whips around him, making sure residents get their mail. Along Butcher's King Avenue route, a rather quaint suburban neighborhood, Butcher often runs into 72-year-old Tom Devlin, who sort of waits for Butcher so the two can exchange pleasantries and shoot the breeze, as they say. This moment when Tom and Wilfred stop and chat for a bit was, according to Tom's wife of 40 years, Laura Belle, when the root of that word pleasantries, pleasant, might be attached to the guy. For the most part, Tom is a tyrant and drunkard and often walks through the door after working at the factory all day and screams at his wife, if Laura Belle is lucky. On those days when she's not so lucky, Tom walks in and beats the poor woman for no other reason than she exists in his world. Laura Belle didn't do much of anything besides keep the house, cook, and her favorite pastime, collecting lace. She's a housewife. During the week of January 6th, 1947, yes, a long time ago, postman Wilfred Butcher is surprised not to have run into Tom or see him in the window, it being too damn cold to step outside, waving to him as Wilfred delivered the Devlin's mail. This is odd to Butcher. Tom is like clockwork. Guy got up every day, went to work, came home, read his newspaper, ate his dinner, yelled at his wife, waved to the postman, and had a little chat. Listened to a bit of radio, and then he went off to bed to do it all over again the next day. Routines. We're all guilty of them. What gives? It's been several days now, and Wilfred Butcher cannot recall seeing Tom once. It's kind of nagging at the guy. He gets a sense something is wrong. Laura Belle cut an eccentric figure with her shortly cropped, wavy dark hair, long and narrow face, high eyebrows, thin as a pencil mark, this rather big nose, thin lips painted with dark lipstick, and wide, very round eyes. She looked kind of freaky. She has this kind of bizarre gaze about her, as though she had just walked off the set of a Bela Lugosi film. You've seen this woman before, the quiet old lady next door who kept to herself, wore dark-colored old clothes like a maid, and buckled in black leather shoes that make a clip-clop echoey sound against the wooden floor. I'm kind of painting an Alfred Hitchcock sort of scene here, because that's what it was. The Devlins' neighbors, according to a newspaper article about them written years later, were thought of around the neighborhood as strange. This sort of dark cloud hovering over the family. Their home wasn't kept up like most others, the yard often overrun by junk and weeds and in need of some maintenance. But they left people alone, kept mostly to themselves, and didn't give two shakes what anyone else thought. "I haven't seen Tom around in some time, Mrs. Devlin," Postman Butcher finally says one day to the old lady after running into her. He's curious as to where Tom had gone off to. He cannot let it go. "He went yonder to Philadelphia," she explains, "to visit family." "Oh," Butcher replies. "Is that so, Mrs. Devlin?" "It is," she says, kind of angrily. "Like, why you asking me this, dude? You're the postman. Deliver the mail, shut up, go about your day." Some days after that, the Devlin's neighbor stopped over to inquire about Tom, whom he hadn't seen in quite a while either. Laura Belle tells him the same, this time adding, "But something happened." "That's so, Mrs. Devlin." "Here, I will show you," she says, and Laura Belle goes into another room, comes back with a letter. "Read it," she says. The neighbor notices the letter is from Tom's cousin in Philly, where Tom had, according to Laura Belle, run off to. Okay. Laura Belle shows the letter next to Postman Wilford Butcher, but being that his business is delivering mail, he notices right away there's no actual postmark on the letter, but one which seems to be crudely drawn in by hand. Something definitely doesn't feel right. "You had better come with me," Butcher says. Laura Belle doesn't resist. She grabs her coat and hat and heads out the door. Tom Devlin worked at a local factory, punching a clock every morning and cracking open a bottle of liquor every night. And no sooner had he gotten his drink on, was he going in search of Laura Belle to begin beating on her. Police had been called to that house on numerous occasions throughout those years leading up to 1947. "No," Laura Belle would tell police whenever it came time to press charges for Tom beating her. She lived under this code then that wives were supposed to stay with their husbands regardless of the circumstances. No matter what transpired inside the home, they went to church and prayed for their husbands and stayed in the marriage. Laura Belle would often confide in her friends and neighbors and tell them about how badly Tom had beaten her. "Be a good wife," they'd tell her. "He'll change." They also had children, and so Laura Belle had thought of them first, she said. Where would a woman with children and no job go? Such a different time. Thank God we have changed in some respects. I want to add something here that's important to this story. I think today more than ever, the term emotional threshold holds a unique significance. What is it? In many ways, an emotional threshold, or window of tolerance, as it is also called, is exactly what it sounds like. We are pushed and pushed to our utmost limits, stuffing it all down deep, maybe by crazy drivers or some idiot at work, a bully, whatever the situation or person might be. This psychological limit and its causes are different in every human being. That person's capacity, in other words, to process challenging information or emotions before becoming overwhelmed. Everybody has a different threshold, a different breaking point. We sometimes disengage or have this intense reaction, whatever it may be. Think of it as the maximum amount of emotional stress or even stimulation you can handle while still being able to function effectively and still being able to manage your feelings in a healthy manner. That means you're at your threshold or just below it. Once your mind and your emotions cross that threshold, however, all bets off. This is the point when, using the crazy driver scenario, road rage might take over, and you, for lack of a more medical term, snap. You wind up doing something without much logical thinking behind it. When you happen to cross over your particular threshold and become overwhelmed, all your normal coping mechanisms fail you. This is the point where your body triggers that fight, flight, or freeze response. Most of us can realize what's happening and seek professional help, maybe, which is a good go-to. Or we talk ourselves back across to the safe side of our threshold. Some of us, however, do not. As the Devlin's neighbor is kind of stewing about not seeing Tom Devlin in some time, he is outside one day in his backyard and he notices something. A smell. An atrocious, sour, and pungent aroma coming from the Devlin's yard. It is so profound that for the neighbor, this smell can mean only one thing. Something or someone is dead and rotting inside the Devlin's house. And it's probably Tom Devlin. Let's take our only break of the episode here and come back to conclude this story. And you will find it hard to believe how far Laura Belle, such a petite, timid, hunched-over old woman, was pushed over her threshold and what she did in response. More of this Crossing the Line with M. William Phelps shortcut in 1 minute. Looking at what was obviously not a real letter written from Tom Devlin's cousin, postman Wilfred Butcher had told Laura Belle to come with him. So she grabbed her hat and coat, and without a fuss, off they went to the police station. Butcher was determined to get to the bottom of where Tom had run off to. He sensed that Laura Belle was hiding something, and the letter confirmed it. Now, it's not clear whether the postman or the neighbor made the first real inquiry to police about Tom Devlin. But regardless how they find out, police are interested in where Tom Devlin had run off to, or if he had run off at all. There is a keen sense of awareness happening here that Laura Belle probably had something to do with old Tom, the wife-beater, disappearing. The local police chief reads the letter. In it, someone purported to be Tom's cousin was writing to Laura Belle saying Tom had died while he was in Philly, and they had gone and taken him back to Ireland to bury him. The entire family went. They never called her. They never asked her to come. Tom dies, they take off to Ireland, and they bury him. Done deal. They take one look at this letter and realize Laura's feeble attempt to trick them is not going to work. And Laura herself is now acting as though she does not care at this point. You want to know what happened to Tom? Go ahead and ask me. Where is Tom? The police chief asks Laura Belle. Tom? Oh, he's in the backyard, she says with a little smirk. And she's calm. There's a sense of relief there as well. That son of a gun, he won't be beating her anymore. So they check the backyard of the Devlin house, and sure enough, there is Tom, in pieces, scattered around the yard, his dismembered body parts partially burned. When they take a look around inside the house, they find other parts of Tom inside the coal stoves. Yikes. Police ask Laura Belle to explain what happened. Certainly, she says. And we should note that her composure is very much cool and stoic. She doesn't seem ashamed or even rattled by what she's done. Tom walked into the house and, as usual, she says, he was blasted drunk and screaming at her. And so, he began throwing dishes at Laura Belle. Watching him, Laura tells police, she tells Tom, those are the last dishes you will ever break in my house. Laura had seen enough, heard enough, withstood enough beatings. She had crossed her threshold. That's for damn sure. This time, she was ready for Tom. And so she attacks Tom, beating him down with a sickle, knocking him unconscious, using her fists after hitting him so hard she broke the damn sickle blade. It's not an easy thing to do. Then after that, she uses the sickle and slashes the guy to bits before wielding a hacksaw and carving Tom up right there on the living room carpet, tossing his body parts into the kitchen and living room coal stoves. Other body parts she spread around the backyard and also a nearby field. "Can I go home now?" she asks police after confessing to killing Tom and then hacking up his body. Laura is eventually deemed as being senile with dementia, and she is sentenced to the state insane asylum. A week after being committed that March in 1947, Laura Belle dies from pneumonia. I have to wonder if she knew she was dying. She felt sick. She's 72 years old in 1947, so she figures, you know what? I don't have much time left in this world. Screw Tom. I'm done with him. That's it for this Crossing the Line with M. William Phelps shortcut. Be safe, be aware, be alert. Sources for this shortcut episode include Ann Arbor News, January 7th, 1947. The case of the notorious murderess Laura Devlin. Newark Advocate, September 5th, 2015. Jerry Sattenfield. Crossing the Line is executive produced by M. William Phelps, LLC, and Matthew Valentinus, Mom's Basement Management. Written by me, M. William Phelps. Audio mastering and mixing by Matt Russell. Music by Epidemic Sound. Original music written and performed by Thomas Mooney, Tom Phelps, and Matt Russell.